Hey everyone, this video here is to catch you guys up to where I'm at with the whole new shop build. Right here in this video, you see the initial breaking of the ground. This was my first concrete guy. Things didn't work out with him, so I just had him tear up the concrete. And I'm not going to go into details there, but basically, we had a dispute on pricing, and it turned into a situation where I just paid him to remove the concrete, and that's it. So, just for the record, the building is up, insulation's in, concrete sealed. I'm working on some stuff on the inside. If you guys follow me on Facebook specifically or Instagram, you know where I'm at. If you don't, all the links will be down in the description. Bear with my nasally sound. I've been sick for the past couple of days and I needed to do something productive, so here we are. Anyways, the first concrete guy got the slab torn out. This is where we're at. We parted ways. The next step of the process was to hire a new guy. That didn't work out. I ended out parting ways with him, and then I focused on removing the trees after I found the third guy. So these two trees here are in the way of the driveway to the side bays on the building. And unfortunately, because I have to work, I didn't get any video footage showing them actually cutting down the trees, and I just got footage of them kind of wrapping up the job. I got to give a big shout out to these guys. I contacted them over the weekend, and by Thursday, they had these trees down, and it wasn't an ordeal at all. They were fast about it. Heck, this guy that's grinding the stumps is out here in the rain finishing up. I wish he would spend a little bit more time grinding, but I understand it was pouring. It was a lightning storm, and it is what it is. I'm overall very happy with the work that they did. The third concrete guy came out after they did their job. Laid in the forms, got the base material in. There still needs to be some work done here. This side on the forms that are open, that's because I got to drive the concrete truck in there. I've got two pads that are a little bit deeper in the center. I'm not sure if you can see them or not, but if you can't, oh well, that's for the lift. And yes, the forms are crooked, and unfortunately, it is what it is. At this point, when this truck was pulling in, that is all I cared about. I can't even express to you how much stress was lifted off of my shoulders, and that stress, because I carry stress around physically, and it was just eating me up. I started this process mid-March. These guys are pulling in with the concrete truck mid-August. So, it's not these guys' fault per se, but just that entire process to get the slab done was a nightmare. So this is where I have the bulk of the footage as far as like work being done. So there's a lot of this. If you guys can fast forward if you want to, but I found it to be pretty interesting. Like I said, I had to work during most of this, so I didn't even get footage of them actually working on the building. I got photographs to show the stages and everything and the work that was being done. I just didn't get any like time lapse footage of it. So this moment here that I'm slowing down on, again, it was I wanted to slow this down for you guys because to hear the concrete coming down the slide and then start pouring into here was just like, oh my God, thank goodness. It was just so much stress getting to this point. So I wanted to share that with you. Zach, the gentleman, the heavier set gentleman with the glasses and kind of on the other side of the chute there, he was the one that I contracted this job with, and I guess all the other guys are somehow connected to him, family or close friends of the family or somehow connected to his family. They did a really good job. The gentleman there in the orange shirt, you'll eventually see him. He ends out in like a neon green, neon yellow shirt. He's the one that pretty much took charge of the job once they started pouring. He's the finish guy. He did an outstanding job on the finish. He was running the power trowel and just making sure the slab was as level as possible. when you're pouring concrete, especially on something this big, it is not easy to get it to be flat, and you're never going to get it to be 100% flat, but he did a really good job. So what they're doing right there is that they used a bit of a spacer, a height gauge down that center, and then they troweled out just a strip down the center. And what they're doing, why they did that, is they're using that as a height gauge so that they can, not trowel, but screed. They use that as a height gauge so they could screed the concrete like they're doing right now. And then they did it on one side, and then they move over to the other side, and that center remains the height that they already made it, so that they keep using that as a height gauge for the entire pour. So, and ultimately, this took, I think it was 3 truckfuls. I'm not sure how many yards that was. What I did want to mention, though, is that you didn't see any rebar or wire mesh. There's actually rebar down in the haunch, which is the perimeter part of the monolithic slab, that's significantly deeper and thicker than any other part of the slab. So this slab is actually 4 inches thick in the center, where the lift will be is 8 inches thick, and the haunch was down, if I remember correctly, it was 16 inches by whatever wide it ended up being. Real thick. The gentleman there doing the trawling right now, the Finnish guy, he's getting ready to run that power trawl some more. That's not a quick process. He's got to do it in stages, and it's based upon the load of concrete that was brought in. So he's got to start with the first section that they poured and move on to the second, third, fourth section as it starts to cure up, and then he'll do a little bit, wait for it to cure, do a little bit more, wait for it to cure, do a little bit more until he finally gets that thing nice and smooth, and it gets to a point where the concrete starts to turn black because it's been polished by that trowel. And yeah, I'll show you guys that here in a quick second. We got our concrete done today. Looks pretty good. I got them to, it's not polished, but pretty damn close. They ran the, I guess power trowel is what the proper terminology is for that. Over it until we got, it's kind of blackened and a little bit shiny. So once this is all set up and the forms are down and the building's up, well, I may do it before the building's up, but we'll see. I'm going to spray this down with some sealer, and that'll get her nice and sealed up so I can spill shit all over it and just be able to wipe it up. But you can see, the reflection in it. So it's, it's pretty good the way it sits. But I'm happy with it. Now, the next step is I've already sent a picture to the building manufacturer, and they should be getting a hold of me this coming week to schedule install. So, yep, that's where we're at. I also wanted to give a big shout out to TOL Buildings, top of the line buildings, that's what it stands for. Their guys were out about a week and a half after I sent them the picture to set up my building. And believe it or not, they had the building finished by 4 guys in 10 hours. I'll repeat that. They put that entire building up in 10 hours. The second they showed up, I kind of, the main guy, I went over, showed him where I laid out for the building to go and everything, because I had chalk lined everything prior to, made sure it was all center and squared. Showed him where that stuff was, and while I'm talking to him, the other guys are unloading the trailer. They're unstrapping everything, and they're not wasting 1 second of time. I was at the house for maybe 15 minutes because I left work quick to come show them what, where everything was and where we're at. And by the time I got home, the entire frame structure was up, and that was at 3:30. And then I took off to go get my wife from work, and when I came home, they were pretty much to this point that you see here. And by the time they left, this is what we got. I forget what time they showed up. I'd have to go back and look at my notes. But basically, they didn't do a full day's worth of work. They showed up, I think it was somewhere around noon. Um, yeah, I think it was somewhere around noon they showed up. And they left basically at about 8 o'clock that night. And yeah, they got so much of the building done. I mean, the whole roof's on. There's some trim work that needs to be done, but the whole roof's on. The doors are framed out for the most part, and I was super impressed with the amount of work that they got done in one day. I was starting to wonder if they were going to actually finish the entire job. So the next day, I took off, went to work, and I knew that they would be done before noon, and here they are. This is it. At lunchtime, I came home and I signed my paperwork. They were already packed up, waiting. I did all the paperwork, did the walkthrough with them, and we're done. I went and put the Pathfinder inside the building so that you guys could see it for use it for reference. But I was super stoked. The building looked good. And after having it up and contemplating what I want to do with the space and everything, I decided the area where the Pathfinder is at, I decided I was going to make that a paint booth / dirty room. So if I'm doing any real extensive sanding and stuff like that, I could do it in there and it won't get all over the entire rest of the shop. So anyways, here's some sneak peek footage of the follow-up video of them spray foam insulating the building as well as the roof of the machine shop or ceiling of the machine shop. I'm going to do a follow-up video for that one. I'm going to do another video for me sealing the concrete, and then another video of me painting the ceilings and the upper portion of the walls. And then we're going to be pretty much caught up. There's, the paint booth process, which I'm currently working on footage for that, but I'm going to kind of divide that up between finishing the walls and then actually doing the paint booth section. So I'm not sure I'm going to divide that up, but those are all things in the works, and just bear with me. I got to put together these videos and get them out to you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Like always, subscribe, comment, like, and I will talk to you guys later.